Hello and welcome to Elecspo. Right, the other day we went 10 years into the future on Football Manager 2022 and we had a look at where your current manager is in 10 years time. The likes of Jurgen Klopp had gone to Barcelona, David Moyes was at Slovakia. There was a plethora of wild things happening, and today I'm going to see who is managing your club in 2031. So let's do it. Let's dive into this simulation and see who your manager is in 10 years time. Arsenal, Abelardo. The Gunners have gone for another obscure Spaniard. They got rid of Mikel Arteta in 2026, and since then they've had Abelardo calling the shots at the Emirates. He's earning 155 grand a week. His career is taken, at the start of the simulation he was Alaves, then he's been to Marseille, Lazio, a couple of decent jobs. Now he's got his break in England managing Arsenal. He's a manager who's never linked with anyone really in reality, but on Football Manager he's always getting the call up for a job in the Premier League. He's always Newcastle manager or Watford manager. Let's see how he's got on at Arsenal. He's doing alright, to be honest with you. Arteta lasted 6 years, won 2 Carabao Cups and 2 FA Cups. Abelardo's done just about as well in less time. 2 Europa Leagues, a League Cup and a European Super Cup. Despite not being a high profile name, Abelardo's having a decent time at the Emirates, getting them back in the Champions League. Aston Villa, Cristiano Ronaldo. Villa have just sacked Dean Smith, just like Football Manager 22 predicted, basically to the day. And on this simulation in 10 years time, they've got one of the biggest names in football calling the shots. Cristiano Ronaldo has been the Aston Villa manager since 2030. It's his second job in football. He first got the Osasuna job in 2028. He spent 2 years there, and since 2030 he's been the Aston Villa manager, and he's disappointed at how things are going, which is basically how things are going from in reality. I mean, he's probably quite disappointed what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the midst of doing at Man United. Christ, by the end of the week Ronaldo might be the manager of the Red Devils. You never know. Brentford, Nigel Adkins. The Bees are quite a forward-thinking club with the way they approach players, the kind of managers they bring in. It looks like they've kind of just given that up on 2031 because they've got Nigel Adkins as manager. If you look at his CV throughout this FM simulation, he was at Charlton, Blackburn, Peterborough, Portsmouth, and in 2031 he joined Brentford. I mean, I'm sure Nigel Adkins is a good guy, but that is not really a great appointment. I mean, they are in the Championship, which is fair enough, but even still, surely they could have got someone better than Nigel Adkins. I mean, throughout this simulation they've had Eddie Howe, Julian Lopetegui, Robbie Nielsen, which is another strange one, but at least he won promotion from the Championship. Currently it's Nigel Adkins, and he's been in charge for 286 days. Brighton, Gökhan Inler. The former Leicester City midfielder, I'm pretty sure he was there when Leicester won the title. The Swiss enforcer is the new Brighton manager, and he's been there for a canny long time. He's been there for 7 years. He was first got his managerial break with Nice in 2023, ended his career at Adana DS Demirspor, Turkey. Had a few years in Turkey after his spell with Leicester. Now he's the Brighton manager, and it seems as though he's actually doing pretty well. Over the past few years, Brighton have been solid, although they did dip down into the Championship with Gökhan Inler, but he got them back up and he stabilised them in the Premier League. So they're not doing as well as I thought they were, but they're still doing alright. So well done Gökhan Inler. He's doing pretty well to be a relative newcomer in the managerial sphere. Burnley, Robbie Nielsen. It's a man who's getting his second mention in this video. Robbie Nielsen, a previous Brentford manager, best known for his time really with Hearts. And in this simulation, he's taken his talents to the Premier League somehow. He is somehow the Burnley manager. And they're sitting 16th in the Premier League. They've given up on the Brexit style of football. They've got a French captain, a Dutch vice captain, and a Scottish manager. Burnley Football Club are very, very continental, I'll tell you that for now. Chelsea, Marcelo Gallardo. In 10 years time they are top of the Premier League just like in reality, but no longer managed by Thomas Tuchel. Instead they've got Marcelo Gallardo calling the shots. The little Argentinian taking his talents to the Premier League. He left Argentina in 2026 actually. He was obviously the River Plate manager currently. Left there in 2022, got the Argentina national job. He went to Porto for a couple of years, and now he's in his 3rd year as Chelsea manager. Let's have a little look at his predecessors. I'm sure it's a lengthy list of managers that Chelsea have had in this simulation. It actually isn't. Thomas Tuchel left at the end of the 2023 system. He was then replaced by Gabriel Milano, who I think is Max Allegri, who have previously deduced. Then they had Pep Guardiola. He won a couple of league titles, but was sacked after just 3 years in charge. Now they've got Gallardo. He's won a league. He's won 7 cups. And things are going alright for the Argentinian. But they're always going alright until they're not. He'll probably be out the job by the end of the year, knowing Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Josh Wolf. The Eagles are in the Championship in 10 years' time, and they're managed by a guy who, to be honest with you, I've never heard of in me life. Josh Wolf is an American manager, and in reality, he's the USA's assistant boss. He left that job in 2025, had 5 years, I don't know, finding himself. Who knows? Somehow he's the Crystal Palace manager. He's only earning 10 grand a week, which, I mean, in relative terms for football managers, isn't a lot of money. This doesn't seem like a very good appointment for Crystal Palace. I mean, what's Josh Wolf good at? He's determined and people management. I mean, great. It's no wonder Palace are in the Championship. I mean, I don't think it's Josh Wolf's fault, but he can't be the solution, surely. Everton, Frank Lampard. Super Frank is back in the Premier League. He's been linked with every job possible that's become available since he lost the Chelsea job. But on this simulation, he has spent 10 years at Goodison Park. Obviously, he left Chelsea at the start of the year, and it looks like he was the one to replace Rafa Benitez at Goodison Park. Let's quickly check that out. Let's check the manager's sphere out. Rafa Benitez was sacked after just 171 days in charge on the 18th of December 2021. Since then, Frank Lampard has been the manager forevermore. He got the job on the 31st of December 2021, and he's been nearly the Everton manager for a whole decade. And he still hasn't won a cup for Everton. Everton's trophy drought goes on, but he's doing well enough to keep himself in the job. So that's alright. Well done, Frank. At least you're employed. Leeds United, Marco Silva. One of football's greatest frauds. I've never really understood Marco Silva. I mean, he first looked good at Hull, but then he still took them down, and then he looked good at Everton for a bit, and then still took them, I was going to say down, just not very well. On this Football Manager simulation, he spent a good while at Fulham. He was there until 2029, until he got the Leeds job. That year, he's doing alright. He's great at motivating, he's good at adapting, he's mentally strong, tactically strong. And at Leeds United, they are sitting 9th in the Premier League. Has he won anything at Leeds? He hasn't, but that's fine. He's doing okay at Leeds. They are sitting in the top half of the Premier League. So well done, Marco Silva. Leicester City, Sean Dyche. The man of Burnley fame, Sean Dyche, is the new Leicester City manager. I think we've mentioned this in the previous one, as we had to say where Sean Dyche had gone to from Burnley. We mentioned it before. He had 2 years at England. He left Burnley in 2028. Obviously things didn't go very well for him at England. Now he's the Leicester manager, and he's disappointed at how things are going. Maybe he needs to sign Chris Wood. Then things will be a lot better for Sean Dyche. Liverpool, Steven Gerrard. Also predictable from Football Manager. Steven Gerrard is the Liverpool manager. Liverpool got rid of Jurgen Klopp in December 2025, and surprisingly, they didn't then go with Steven Gerrard to replace him. They went with the Barcelona approach. They went with Ronald Koeman, who obviously recently lost his job at Barcelona, a former Everton manager no less. He was sacked after 174 days, an appalling tenure at Anfield. Then they decided to go with the club legend, just like Barcelona. Barcelona have gone with Xavi. Liverpool have gone with Steven Gerrard. He's almost 5 years into his tenure at Anfield, and he's got 3 cup wins, a Carabao Cup, an FA Cup, and a Community Shield. The Community Shield doesn't count. He's won 2 cups as a Liverpool manager, but he's still yet to get his hands on the Premier League title. Manchester City, Max Allegri. We mentioned him earlier as a previous Chelsea manager. On this simulation, he actually got the England job in 2025. He was there for 3 years. He was the man who Sean Dyche replaced, which, I mean, it's a very natural progression, isn't it? Then he got the Italy job for a year, left that, and in 2031, he is 2 years in to a reign as Manchester City manager. Has he had any joy there? He's won a Premier League, he was Manager of the Year, Community Shield doesn't count, and in 2031 he did what Manchester City do best, and that is win the Carabao Cup. But more importantly, forget what he's done in Manchester City, because in 2026, Massimiliano Allegri won England the World Cup. It's coming home, lads. 2026. Get the t-shirts ready. Get the bags of Carling out. Don't know why it's in a bag. And don't set fireworks out of your arse. 2026 World Cup winners, Max Allegri. You heard it here first. Manchester United, Stefano Pioli. The good news is, Man United fans, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is no more. In 10 years' time, he has left. And he's been replaced by Italian manager Stefano Pioli, expert of Italian football. He's got all his experience in Italian football. In this simulation, he had a little spell with the Italian national team. He was there for 4 years. Had a couple of stints in Germany with Stuttgart and Bayer Leverkusen, which are massive clubs. Then in 2030, he got the Man United job. Has he won anything at Old Trafford? He hasn't, which is quite disappointing for him. But at least it's probably better than having Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. Or is it? I mean, neither seem great. Maybe Man United just aren't very good in 10 years' time. Get used to this, Man United fans. This disappointment is going to continue for a long, long time. It'll be about as disappointing as the time that Paul Scholes found out that his daughter had put videos of him sucking her toes on bloody Instagram, idiot. Or Snapchat, whichever. Doesn't matter. Still disgusting. Newcastle United, Diego Simeone. Surprise, surprise, in 10 years' time, Newcastle United, with their Saudi riches, have got one of the biggest managers in world football. I'm going to look at who their managers have been. It must be a who's who of just any name possible. They first went with Brendan Rodgers. He was sacked. Then they got Luis Enrique. He left after exactly a year, which was a bit disappointing. Then they got Slavisa Jokanovic, which was probably a little bit disappointing, although they were in the Championship, which isn't very good. Then they had Mikel Arteta for less than a year, and now we've got Diego Simeone and his curly little perm winning Newcastle United their first major trophy since 1969, their first domestic trophy since 1955. In 2030, Diego Simeone won Newcastle United an FA Cup. Remember the date, Geordies, the 4th of June 2030. Finally a trophy is coming to St James's Park. Norwich City, Luke Summerfield. I'll be honest with you, I don't know who Luke Summerfield is. On this simulation, he retired in 2023 as a Northampton player. He was playing for Halifax at the start of the simulation. He started his managerial career with Derby, then he went to Fulham. Now he's in the Championship because, of course, he's in the Championship with Norwich City. He's only been sacked once out of 3 clubs so far. I mean, started his managerial career in League One where he won promotion with Derby. Now he's the Norwich manager with aspirations of managing in the Premier League. Does anyone know anything about Luke Summerfield? Because I don't. Let me know in the comments below. Southampton, Romain Sawyers. Ralph Hasenhüttl is no more at St Mary's. The Saints are actually in the Championship and they're managed by current West Brom midfielder Romain Sawyers. He's had a few jobs in the English Football League. He was Cardiff for not very long there. Then he was Preston for not very long. Now he's a Southampton manager. He ended his career at West Brom in 2026. Now he's the Saints manager. He's studying for his Continental A licence. It doesn't seem like he spent long at clubs. So he was hired at Cardiff in 2029. He was sacked in the same year. I mean, considering he's only been managing for 2 years, the fact he's already got 3 clubs, he's turning into a little bit of a slut. I'm going to put it out there. Romain Sawyers, bit of a club whore. 10 years time, he'll probably have another 10 clubs. That's just the way he does business. Actually, let's not slut shame Romain Sawyers. You know, if he wants to have as many jobs as possible, power to him. Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank. The current Brentford boss in 10 years time is the new Tottenham Hotspur manager. And the Tottenham Hotspur manager, who is sitting 10th in the Premier League. Frank left Brentford in 2027, then joined Southampton. And he didn't stay at the Saints long. He joined Tottenham in the same year and he's won them a trophy, winning them the Europa Conference League, which I'm sure Tottenham fans are thrilled about. I mean, what do you get for winning that competition? A certificate? A free pass at Alton Towers? Bag of Watsits? It can't be much, surely. Watford, Sergio Conceição. I mean, my accent might be appalling there. It might be Sergio Conceição, but I mean, I've said it now and it's on the internet, so mock me if you will. On this simulation, he left Porto in 2024. He spent 4 years as the Portugal manager, where he didn't win a World Cup because England won it in 2026. Don't forget, he had a year at Aston Villa, he had a year at Arminia Bielefeld, and in 2031 he is back in the Premier League with Watford, where he is rock bottom of the Premier League. He'll be out of the job by the end of the week and replaced by Quique Sanchez-Flores, and after that they'll probably bring in the dead corpse of Claudio Ranieri. That is dark. Claudio Ranieri will not be dead in 2031. Why have I just said that? And of course the corpse would be dead. That's what a corpse is, for goodness sake, James. Why? Stop talking, we're nearly finished. West Ham, Simone Inzaghi. It's quite sad, but the David Moyes era is over at West Ham. As we know, he is the Slovakia manager, and West Ham have got Simone Inzaghi. He had a little spell with Wolves, started there in 2029, where he first tested himself outside of Italy. He spent 4 years as Inter Milan manager, so he must have done alright at the San Siro. At West Ham, who did he replace? Let's have a little look. He replaced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was sacked in 2029, and he was the guy who replaced David Moyes. So based on this, you're always guaranteed to get 4 years as West Ham manager. David Moyes got 4 and a bit years, nearly 5 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got 4 years, nearly 5 years. Now we've got Simone Inzaghi, who's still got another 3 years left in him, clearly. And finally, Wolves, Nuno Espirito Santo. The more things change, the more they stay the same. In 10 years' time, Nuno is back in the Premier League. He's just lost his job at Tottenham. In this simulation, he lasted a little bit longer. He was there until 2022. He went to Europe, he went to Sevilla, went to Fiorentina, Bologna, and in 2030 he is back at Wolves, which seems like a nice little place to end this video. Nuno back at Molineux, managing a loads of Portuguese players who don't really know where Wolves is on a map. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.